Kentucky terrorized Florida. They beat them 33-14. And I heard somebody tell me that defensive coordinator for the Gators, Austin Armstrong, is going to be having some severe nightmares over the next couple of days about Ray Davis. Ray Davis, you talk about somebody who was looking like a damn god on a gridiron. Every single time he touched the ball, big play, big play, big play. And what's crazy is that I'm just seeing this man average nearly 10 yards per carry, and I'm like, bruh, Florida has a pretty legit defensive line. Like, you come out of this game thinking that Florida's defense just wasn't good, but people seem to forget that this was the same defense that held Tennessee's offense to 16 points. So I don't think that Florida's defense and Austin Armstrong are trash. I just think that Kentucky just was the more physical team than them, and their offensive line is legit. We're going to give Ray Davis his flowers, but the big blue wall is back. Kentucky for years has always had one of the best offensive lines in college football. And last year, they probably had the worst offensive line that they ever had under Mark Stoops. This year, this offensive line is playing at a really high level, and you definitely saw it in this game. Now, Ray Davis, he was making guys miss left and right. He was running guys over. He has incredible vision. This dude is a really explosive back. And he's an NFL back, in my opinion. I think that he kind of has a little bit of some similarities to Kenneth Walker in a sense. He's really explosive, really powerful. I mean, he hits the hole and he's gone. And not just that, but he has this rare blend of elusiveness and power. You know, he can run through you, but he can also run away from you. He can hit you with a juke move, a spin move. Like, this Ray Davis guy, I'm probably going to have him on my Heisman watch list when it comes out later this week, because I think he's going to be one of the best running backs in college football. And this was pretty much Kentucky's entire offense. They had 280 rushing yards. He had 4 total touchdowns, 3 on the ground, 1 receiving. Kentucky's offense outside of Ray Davis didn't do anything. And, you know, Kentucky moving forward, I'm really trying to figure out, when is Devin Leary going to wake the hell up? Because this does not look like the same Devin Leary that I saw at NC State when he was one of the best quarterbacks in the ACC. I mean, this Devin Leary just looks like a worse version of Will Levis without the athleticism. He's turning the football over. He's really inaccurate. I don't know if he's still a little bit rusty because he did miss a good amount of time due to that injury, but he's been a major flop, a major disappointment. He was one of the best quarterbacks coming out of the transfer portal. And he is going to have to play better if Kentucky is going to try to be unbeaten with their next 3 games. They got to play Georgia next week. And Georgia, their defensive line doesn't look like the same defensive line that we've seen the last 2 years up there in Athens. They got gashed by Auburn. So you look at how Kentucky did Florida in this game, they very well could do Georgia the same way. They got some mean, nasty guys on that offensive line for Kentucky. So you're telling me after having 4 or 5 wins is a good achievement? I mean, yeah. I mean, we'll get to that later. But when you look at Kentucky, you know, the fact that they're undefeated right now, even though they didn't have a tough schedule, this was their prove-it game. You know, Florida, they already proved themselves. They beat Tennessee. I don't think that this loss should change anything about how you view Florida in terms of them being able to be a bowl-eligible team. Like, people making it seem like Billy Napier needs to be fired and drastic changes need to be made. Like, they just didn't shut down Tennessee's offense a couple of weeks ago. You know, they had a really bad performance. This is a really alarming performance. You know, and Austin Armstrong, he definitely does deserve a good amount of criticism for this. But, you know, we just got to give hats off and just say that Kentucky's offensive line just bullied Florida. And their defense bullied Florida's offense. Like, you knew this game was over for Florida once they were down multiple possessions and they couldn't run the football. The way Florida wants to win games is that they want to keep them close. They want to run the football. They don't want to ask Graham Mertz to have to win the game. Kentucky forced Florida to put the ball in Graham Mertz's hands. And Graham Mertz, I mean, looking at this game from the box score, it looked like he had a pretty decent performance. But if you actually watch this game, it's just, it's just he's playing in a super conservative offense, and he kind of himself is already a super conservative quarterback. So this is an offense that they don't really take a lot of shots downfield that often. Now, they do have the ability to hit a couple of big plays here and there like they did in this game. But overall, like, this is an offense that if the run game isn't going, they're not going to have a lot of success. And there's two ways to stop the run. Either you stop it outright by your defense just stuffing the run game, or you just get up by so many possessions that the only way that team can come back is by throwing the ball. Kentucky did both. And Florida has a pretty good offensive line, and I'm surprised that Kentucky went for damn near 300 yards with just one player on the Florida defense that ranks really high amongst the rest of the run defenses in the SEC. Like, Florida's run defense was really good coming into this game. Both of these teams had two really good run defenses, but I guess we saw who had the better of the two in this game. Like, Kentucky just was a bowling ball. Ray Davis, like I said earlier, Austin Armstrong is going to be waking up tomorrow morning with nightmares of Ray Davis. I mean, Ray Davis just terrorized and torched Florida's defense. And I was just shocked watching it because Florida has some really good defensive linemen. He is a really good running back. And if Kentucky is going to remain unbeaten, they're going to need him to repeat the performance that he had against Florida in their next 3 games against Georgia, Missouri, and Tennessee. Because Devin Leary, he doesn't look it. And until he wakes up, I don't really see how Kentucky's offense is going to do much against Georgia. Now, if Devin Leary plays well, they got a really good shot to beat Georgia because they got some good receivers. They got a really nice offense. They just need a damn good quarterback. And Devin Leary has not been that. He's been really bad. And if Florida was able to shut down the run game, I really wonder how this game would have went. This would have been a knockout, drag-out defensive slugfest if Ray Davis didn't have the performance that he had. I mean, Devin Leary, he's been a massive disappointment, man. I thought that he was going to be really good this year. I thought that he was going to be a top 3 quarterback in the SEC.